Good evening, sleepy scholars, and welcome to tonight's journey into the past, a tranquil exploration of a figure whose name echoes throughout history, Genghis Khan. If you enjoyed this, subscribe to keep up to date with future videos. Let's begin. Imagine for a moment the vast undulating grasslands of Central Asia, stretching endlessly under an immense sky. This is the Mongolian steppe, a land of harsh winters and vibrant summers, where ancient nomadic tribes lived and struggled, bound by tradition and the rhythms of nature. From this demanding landscape emerged a man born under the name Temüjin, who would unite disparate clans, forge an empire of unparalleled size, and fundamentally reshape the world. His story is one of incredible adversity, strategic brilliance, and a legacy that continues to intrigue historians and thinkers alike. As we delve into his life, we'll uncover not just a conqueror, but a complex leader who established laws, fostered trade, and influenced cultures from the Pacific to the Mediterranean. Tonight, we won't dwell on the thunder of hooves or the clash of swords, but rather on the quiet unfolding of a destiny, the strategic mind behind the legend, and the enduring impact of his vision. Settle in, let your mind drift, and allow the tale of Temüjin to unfold gently around you. Chapter 1. Temüjin's harsh beginnings. Our story begins in the year 1162, or perhaps a little earlier. The exact date is debated. On the banks of Onum River, a boy is born, given the name Temüjin, meaning of iron or blacksmith, to a respected tribal chief named Yassa and his wife Orphan. His birth was marked by a blood clot held in his hand, a sign, some believed, of a future warrior. Life on the steppe was brutal, and childhood offered no protection from its realities. When Temüjin was around 9 years old, a profound tragedy struck. His father, Yassa, was poisoned by a rival Tatar tribe during a journey. This act left Temüjin, his mother, and his younger siblings utterly vulnerable. According to Mongol custom, without a strong leader, the rest of the clan abandoned them, fearing the burden of supporting a widow and her young children. They were cast out, forced to survive by their wits in the wilderness. Orphan, Temüjin's mother, proved to be a woman of immense strength and resourcefulness. She taught her children to forage, hunt, and endure the extreme conditions. This period of extreme hardship, marked by hunger, cold, and constant threat, was deeply formative for young Temüjin. It instilled in him a fierce self-reliance, an acute understanding of betrayal, and a deep-seated desire for unity and order among the fragmented tribes. One particularly telling episode from this time saw Temüjin, still a young man, captured by a rival clan who had once been loyal to his father. He was shackled, an experience that would leave an indelible mark. Yet, displaying an early glimpse of his strategic mind and unwavering resolve, he managed a daring escape under the cover of night. This escape solidified his reputation among the few who knew of him and marked a turning point in his early struggles, allowing him to begin forging his own path, not through inherited power, but through sheer will and charisma. Chapter 2. Forging alliances from outcast to leader. Emerging from his isolated struggle, Temüjin began the slow, deliberate process of building a following, lay not in individual strength, but in the strength of alliances. His first significant bond was with Jamukha, a childhood friend and a respected leader in his own right. For a time, they were sworn brothers, Anda, sharing their lives and their ambitions. However, the world of the steppe was complex, filled with shifting loyalties and competing interests. Temüjin also sought the patronage of Toghrul, the powerful leader of the Khwarezmian tribe, who had been a blood brother to Temüjin's father. Toghrul, also known as Wang Khan, became a surrogate father figure, offering protection and support, though their relationship would also prove to be a delicate balance of power and eventual conflict. As Temüjin gathered more followers, his leadership style began to set him apart. Unlike traditional tribal chiefs who relied on aristocratic lineage, Temüjin promoted individuals based on merit and loyalty, regardless of their background. He shared spoils fairly and cared for his soldiers and their families. This radical approach attracted many, especially those who felt marginalized by the old tribal system. The early years of his rise were marked by numerous skirmishes and diplomatic maneuvers. He learned the art of war, the psychology of his enemies, and the importance of discipline. He skillfully navigated the treacherous landscape of tribal politics, making and breaking alliances, always with an eye towards his ultimate goal, unifying the Mongols. His strategic brilliance began to shine through in his campaigns against the Tartars, the very tribe who had poisoned his father. These campaigns, though often brutal, served to consolidate his power and avenge past wrongs, further cementing his reputation. Chapter 3: Unification of the Mongols, the birth of Genghis Khan. The path to unification was fraught with challenges. Temüjin faced formidable opposition from his former allies, including Jamukha, whose more traditional aristocratic views clashed fundamentally with Temüjin's meritocratic vision. The rivalry between Temüjin and Jamukha escalated into open warfare. Temüjin's decisive victory over Jamukha at the Battle of 13 Sides marked a significant turning point, demonstrating his superior military tactics and the unwavering loyalty of his growing army. He systematically defeated or absorbed other powerful tribes. The Khwarezmians, led by his former patron Toghrul, and the Naimans, a sophisticated and influential confederation to the west. With each victory, his forces grew stronger, incorporating defeated warriors into his ranks, and his reputation as an unstoppable force spread across the steppe. By 1206, after decades of struggle, strategic alliances, and fierce warfare, Temüjin had achieved the seemingly impossible. He had united all the disparate Mongol and Turkic tribes of the steppe under a single banner. This momentous achievement was formalized as a great assembly, a Kurultai, held near the source of the Onum River. At this gathering, the tribal leaders proclaimed Temüjin their supreme ruler and bestowed upon him his title, Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler or oceanic king. This was more than just a change of name. It marked the birth of a nation. Genghis Khan immediately set about transforming the loose tribal confederation into a cohesive state, He implemented the Yassa, a comprehensive code of law that governed all aspects of Mongol life, from military organization to taxation, criminal justice, and even religious tolerance. The Yassa, though unwritten in its entirety during his lifetime, provided a legal and moral framework, promoting discipline and order and fostering a sense of shared identity among the newly united Mongols. He also created a sophisticated decimal-based military organization, ensuring strict loyalty and efficient command structures. The Mongol nation was now ready for its next phase, expansion. Chapter 4. The Great Conquests. The Empire takes shape. With the Mongol tribes unified and disciplined under his command, Genghis Khan turned his attention beyond the steppe. The motivation for expansion was complex. It was partly driven by the need for resources to sustain his growing population, a desire for revenge against long-standing enemies, and perhaps a belief in his divine mandate to rule the world. His first major external campaign was against the Tenguts, who ruled the Western Xia Dynasty in northwest China. They were a settled agricultural society with fortified cities, a new challenge for the nomadic Mongols. Through a series of brilliant sieges and maneuvers, Genghis Khan forced them to submit, gaining valuable experience in siege warfare and Chinese military tactics. Next came the formidable Jin Dynasty, which controlled northern China. The Jin were vastly superior in numbers and possessed advanced weaponry and massive cities. The Mongol campaigns against the Jin, beginning around 1211, were prolonged and devastating. Genghis Khan's forces, though outnumbered, used their superior mobility, tactical ingenuity, and psychological warfare to great effect, bypassing fortifications, cutting supply lines, and drawing the Jin into open battles where Mongol cavalry excelled. Although he didn't fully conquer the Jin during his lifetime, he severely crippled their power, paving the way for future Mongol domination of China. However, it was the invasion of the Khwarezmian Empire in Central Asia that truly announced the Mongol Empire's terrifying power to the world. The Khwarezmian Shah, fearing Mongol expansion, had executed Mongol envoys and merchants, a grave insult to Genghis Khan. Enraged, Genghis Khan launched an invasion in 1219, deploying an estimated 100,000 to 200,000 warriors in a coordinated attack across vast distances. The campaign was marked by unprecedented speed and ferocity. Cities like Bukhara, Samarkand, and Urgench were besieged, captured, and often brutally razed, with their populations decimated. This campaign effectively shattered the Khwarezmian Empire and opened up vast new territories to Mongol control, extending their reach deep into Persia and beyond, touching the borders of Eastern Europe. The sheer scale and speed of these conquests were unprecedented in world history. Chapter 5. Legacy, Administrator, Innovator, and World Changer. Genghis Khan was not merely a destructive force, he was also a remarkable administrator and an innovator. As his empire grew, he recognized the need for a stable system of governance. He integrated conquered peoples and their skills into his empire, adopting their administrative practices and technologies. One of his most significant contributions was the establishment of the Yam, an efficient postal relay system. This network of relay stations, with fresh horses and riders, allowed messages and intelligence to travel at incredible speeds across the vast distances of the empire, facilitating communication, trade, and military command. This system was far more advanced than anything seen in Europe at the time. He famously promoted religious tolerance, a pragmatic policy that prevented internal strife and allowed him to draw on the talents of people from diverse backgrounds, including Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, and Taoists. This policy of tolerance stood in stark contrast to the religious conflicts prevalent in many other parts of the world. Under Mongol rule, the Silk Road, the ancient trade route connecting east and west, experienced a golden age of security and prosperity. With a unified power controlling much of its length, merchants could travel with relative safety, leading to an unprecedented change of goods, ideas, technologies, and cultures between Asia and Europe. Innovations like gunpowder, paper, printing, and navigation techniques made their way westward, while European goods and ideas travelled eastward. Genghis Khan also established a common script for the Mongol language, ensuring literacy and facilitating communication within the empire. He commissioned scholars and artisans, valuing knowledge and skill regardless of origin. His death in 1227, while campaigning against the Tanguts, brought an end to his direct rule, but the empire he forged continued to expand under his sons and grandsons, reaching its peak size in the 13th century. The Mongol conquests had profound and lasting impacts on the demographic, political, and cultural landscapes of Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. In some regions, the rise of new trade networks and the spread of technologies and diseases across continents, the Pax Mongolica, or Mongol peace, though achieved through brutal conquest, did usher in a period of relative stability and increased interaction across Eurasia. Chapter 6. Conclusion. The enduring echo. Genghis Khan remains a complex and enigmatic figure. To some, he was a brutal conqueror, a force of destruction whose campaigns caused immense suffering. To others, he was a visionary leader, a military genius, and the founder of a vast empire that facilitated unprecedented cultural exchange and laid the groundwork for future states. His life, from an abandoned orphan to the ruler of the largest contiguous land empire in history, is a testament to human resilience, ambition, and strategic prowess. The echoes of his horsemen still resonate across the Eurasian steppes, and his legacy continues to be debated and analysed. As our journey through his life concludes, reflect on how one individual, forged by the harsh realities of the steppe, could leave such an indelible mark on the tapestry of human history. The winds of the Mongolian grasslands continued to blow, carrying whispers of a leader whose influence, both destructive and constructive, shaped the world in profound and lasting ways. Now, as the tale fades into the quiet of the night, allow your mind to drift peacefully. Good night.